viață, de ce să o pierdem cu detalii care nu-s necesare? Umplem iar pahare până la refuz, yeah. Așa îmi vine și mă și amuz uneori. Nu știu încă de unde am venit, ce caut aici. Plecam cu coada între picioare, acum mă scap de afiș. N-aveam răbdare să ascult deloc, acum tac. Și răspund după ce înțeleg ce-ai zis. Se simte timpul cum trece sau noi cum trecem prin timp. Trăiesc momentul de față ca să-mi creez amintiri. Țin de familie, de prieteni, de cine-i loial. Restul voia sorții, să mă cheamă propriu destin. Totuși te simt, o singură șansă avem cu sorii. Simplim focul deschis, e mult mai greu când ai un scop de atins. Te uiți pe lângă tine, vezi cine a supraviețuit. Din ei se luptă să trăiască cum ar trebui. O inimă mare, doi plămâni ca să respir. O inimă mare, mă inspiră zi de zi. Fă din șansa ta un vis, fă din șansa ta un vis împlinit. Fiindcă avem o singură viață, de ce să o pierdem cu detalii care nu-s necesare? Umplem iar pahare până la refuz, yeah. Așa îmi vine și mă și amuz uneori. Avem o singură viață, de ce să o pierdem cu detalii care nu-s necesare? Umplem iar pahare până la refuz, yeah. Așa îmi vine și mă și amuz uneori. De ale, de ale, de ale. Daci ale, 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 nu știu ce să aleg. Daci ale, 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 ale. Nu te teme de moarte că nu-ți mai trăiești viața. Pune zâmbetul pe față dimineața. Du-te, ia legume fresh, fă-ți viața. Pune doar ce trebuie în trupul ăla ca un rasa. Niște mișcare ca să ungă carcasa. Binecuvântare nu e lumea prea razna. Alegerile noastre ne fac să simțim asta. Atât de multe drumuri eu, yeah. De ale, de ale, de ale, de ale. Dar ce ale, 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 ale.
Știi, avem o singură viață și
nu știu ce să aleg.
merită să ne stresăm în fiecare zi pentru toate mizeriile.
Avem o singură viață, de ce să o pierdem cu detalii care nu-s necesare? Umplem iar pahare până la refuz, yeah. Așa îmi vine și mă și amuz uneori. Avem o singură viață, de ce să o pierdem cu detalii care nu-s necesare? Umplem iar pahare până la refuz, yeah. Așa îmi vine și mă și amuz uneori. One life, one life. One life, one life, one life. One life, one life. One life, one life, one life. Learn it, love it, live it.
Hi, welcome everyone to another stream on this channel, another gaming preview for Gameweek 12. Tonight we have another special guest, FPL Fran. Thanks a lot, mate, for joining. How are you?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm doing pretty good. Some pretty big FPL news this week, so it's nice to jump on the stream.
Yeah, thanks a lot for accepting the invite. We're going to jump straight into it. Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw already the news. You just came back from work, but yeah, moving forward, I think that this is an important news. A lot of people are going to be interested in about Gabriel. Now you can see it on the screen. The latest news is from David Orstein, who is pretty much a reliable source, if you would agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
And they are, we still don't know the exact extent of the injury, but it sounded like it's going to be 1-2 months. So yeah, at the moment, it's looking like Gabriel is going to be an easy sell in FPL. What do you think about this news?
Yeah, it's pretty big. I mean, it's interesting in terms of like thinking about on the left-hand side, does that make any more FPL picks a bit more interesting? Or does that make people want to just simply go a Saliba or a Timber? Like Timber's become very popular recently. But I think now when you think about it, there's still question marks for me around how likely it is that someone like Timber would start a game like Brentford at home. Like if you look at Arsenal's fixture run coming up, it feels like almost they need to play full strength even versus like, let's say Bayern Munich, then Chelsea. And then of course they've got Aston Villa right after Brentford. So it almost feels like if you think that there's possible rotation, I guess the safest way around it is Saliba, who we've kind of ignored for a bit, just generally speaking. But yeah, what are your takes on it?
Yeah, I agree. Saliba was the most, I don't know, defender who I wasn't looking at buying. I agree with that. The thing is, I also saw something about Timber being took off for Netherlands, so we don't know if he's 100% fit himself.
Yeah, I think he suffered like a facial injury, like
Oh,
a kind of collision. So I think it's not like kind of muscular or anything like that. He should be fine. But yeah, I mean, this season we haven't seen a lot of Ben White starts because he's been unfit himself. But we did see him start in the EFL Cup, so I do think, especially when you jump into like a December period, I think what hurts about the Gabriel injury for a lot of people who even have money tied up is you just kind of have to sell him. If you think he's at least a month out, I mean, we're missing way too many game weeks for him to be kind of like worth keeping. So
yeah. That's why I'm glad at least we got this information. You know, we could have gone into
yeah,
the deadline not knowing if he's going to miss 1, 2, 3 games. At least now we know for sure that he is a sell. No, I'm not sure how that's going to impact Arsenal defensive wise. Personally, I don't think that is going to be such a big blow for them since they have a lot of other defenders. But I agree with you. Uh, Maybe not for now. I'm not sure if I would rush to buy them against Spurs, against Chelsea. But again, I can see some rotation also for Calafiori team, but I don't think that they're going to play all the games. They have Lewis Kelly who could play as a left back. Ben White, as you said, Hincapié, I think that he could play as a left center back, maybe something like that.
100%. Yeah, he can play left center back, left back.
So yeah, what's your take on this? Are Arsenal? Do you think that Arsenal are still going to be that solid?
I think they'll be fine because I think like the expectations that Arsenal set, no club realistically can reach it this season. So you're only really kind of talking about whether Arsenal can be a slightly, like, I don't know, like if Arsenal was 5 to 10% worse, is that significant in terms of the numbers? Like, not really, right? Because if you think about, like, even on a week like this, I was looking at I think FPL Sally was sort of pulling out the clean sheet odds. Like, I mean, versus Tottenham at home, they're still top, right? Expected on models and markets. So if that drops like a couple percent and you think the defense is going to get worse, it has to get considerably worse for us to think that like the Arsenal defense is like suddenly not valuable again.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, pretty much I think that we covered this subject. Gabriel is an easy sell for anyone that owns. Yeah, other than that, if we move to the next slide, it's more like fun with flags this week. Funnily, last week I watched a video of yours, transfer plans, something like that, before the international break, where you said something like, I think that you have 3 or 4 free transfers, something like that, and you want some chaos. And yeah, thanks, Fran. Now we have a lot of them. Yeah, as you can see from this screen now, Calafiori, I think that he's okay, although he left the Italy camp. He's okay. Semenyo, another spoiler. I should probably check it. So with Semenyo, he's not injured. He just proposed to his girlfriend. So yeah, so Semenyo's okay. What do you think about the other players?
Yeah, I read today that the news on Gyökeres is that he's probably actually out for Spurs, it seems like. So that's not good news. Guecki, we haven't had an update. I know that Glasner said he, I think, couldn't walk, apparently, before the match versus Brighton. So I can't imagine he would have recovered too much. But at the same time, you never really know. Like, I don't even know exactly what the injury is. Some picks here, I'm not sure if people
not so popular
are that into yet, right? Like for example, like Kudus, it seems like he's quite a popular sell. Clivert, I think his minutes aren't good enough, but I mean they are about to start a really good fixture run, so he's interesting. But yeah. I think that could even like someone who's actually gotten a lot of minutes from this Bournemouth team recently is Tavernier. Like he started a lot of games consistently. It still feels kind of rough to go into someone like Marcus Tavernier, but that's that. With Neto, I think the bigger piece there is if you think Esteval's really good, and I mean I do at least, so far you can see that Maresca seems very like cautious about him, like he's kind of protected Esteval. But as Garnacho gets more minutes and he plays better, I guess Neto isn't for me a pick that I really like, because I think, okay, if things get better for Esteval's minutes, you know, I think Neto might actually be the one who gets hurt the most. With Enzo, it's a tricky thing because it's like fixture rotation, right? If you look at Chelsea's fixtures, it's in the same way that I said that the Brentford game was like a problem game for Arsenal rotation, then this Burnley game is kind of a problem for someone like Enzo, because if he had Payne, you know, this whole time, and we know there's 3 players who've been training with Payne, right? Like Enzo, Caicedo, João Pedro. The last time round with Nottingham Forest, we saw that Enzo missed out on the game. If you believe it, apparently he posts every time on Instagram if he's in the starting lineup. Like, so
I
I
saw
don't know.
that.
Let's see. But he could very well miss out on Burnley, or at least if even there's a threat of him coming off the bench, I mean, you're probably going to sell him, right? And then Muniz, I think he's interesting because, I mean, he did sign his contract this season, and you know, people have been suggesting that the reason for that is because he's been promised minutes. So far, I still think because Raul's around, there's the threat of that. But yeah, I mean, Muniz could be back soon. Konsa, I'm not really aware of the Konsa injury. Maybe you can let me know about that.
I mean, he's flagged on FPL. I'm not sure how many people have him.
Right.
Probably Enzo Fernandez is a player, at least the FPL, a lot of people in the FPL community have. And yeah, he's a doubt. Now, let's see the latest news. Muniz, for what's worth, for an example, if the injury is a lot worse than we thought, maybe someone like Raul Jimenez could be in the mix. But again, when you have players like Welbeck, Thiago, probably for just a little bit more cash, probably just going to go there. Although the fixtures for Fulham are pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, Sesko's a big injury, right? I think he's out for a month. For me, the impact is just, you know, that almost nails Cunha. Which, you know, if you, I feel like in FPL, it's a game where people don't really love moving into picks that haven't done well recently. But, you know, players like Cunha, players like Foden are about to jump into pretty good fixture runs, and on paper are still good FPL picks. So if you like them, I mean, I quite like the opportunity of at least investing into them.
Yeah, good shout about Cunha. Now, forgetting that he's not going to go to AFCON, so definitely he's going to be an even better pick after that. But still, with Sesko out, yeah, playing as a number 9 like he played for Wolverhampton last season. Yeah, before the season started, I thought that Cunha was going to be better than Bryan Mbeumo, but at the moment he's just not clicking for him. But I'm sure that he's going to get better. To answer some questions, we're going to have also a Q&A session later, guys. If you want to keep those questions. Bruno Fernandes in, Soboslai out. Again, Lemony Lowy, thanks a lot for joining the stream. I don't think that you have a really good reason to sell Soboslai at the moment. A lot of people are going to jump on him. Again, he's on 4 yellow cards, so at the moment you're safe. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it depends. I guess like if you want to captain Bruno, maybe it makes a bit more sense. I agree with you. Like Sobo's not really a sell. So if I was going to go to Bruno this week, I'd probably find someone else in the midfield to do it. Like if I had Enzo, for example, I'd probably sell him because there's a bit of doubt on him. And then after that, do you really want him?
Yeah, it's Arsenal after that also. Who'll replace Gabriel now? Hincapie or Hincapie? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. Or Mosquera. Now maybe you can answer this question better.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I think if you think that Arteta is going to play a direct sort of left center back, then I guess Hincapie makes sense. If you think, but at the same time, we've seen many times before Saliba can play left center back. So it could just be Saliba plus Mosquera, which would be a problem, right? Because if that, I think the wider problem is actually you could probably see both. Last season, though, we did see Kiwi or Saliba a lot, but that's because, of course, you know, we didn't have Mosquera as well. So, like, I think people like the idea always of having a left-footed center back at left center back, but like if you think your 2 best center backs are Mosquera and Saliba, then there's that.
Yeah.
I personally think Hincapie will actually play just because when Mosquera was starting some of those matches late, like earlier on, you know, that was mostly because Saliba was out on the right hand side, and at the same time, Hinkapia wasn't even ready. So I almost think I would think Hinkapia, being a bit more experienced as a player, is likely to play left center back.
Yeah. No, sorry for asking the question. I'm not sure. Has he played already for Arsenal in Cup? I'm not sure. In the Premier League, at least.
I think he had not in the Premier League as a start, but he has
Yeah.
started in the Champions League. So I think he played like the last match. I think they played Slavia Praha, and I think he played like 75 minutes. So what happened in that game, I believe, was he started, and then I think Gabriel had an injury in that match too. But then he got subbed off at the same time as Hinkapie. Or actually, no, I'm forgetting. I think Hinkapie just started at left back that game.
Yeah.
So we don't really have enough information on what Arteta would do if Gabriel was out completely.
Yeah, they have a lot of defenders at the moment.
Yeah, they do. They have too many almost.
Yeah, I guess he could play also as a left back, but they have also
Yeah,
Lewis
and Calafiori can play
Kelly
left center
there.
back too. You're right.
Yeah, yeah, they have a
That's
lot
the
of them.
concern.
So yeah, if we talk a little bit about, I don't know, since a lot of people probably are going to sell Gabriel, the most obvious transfer maybe is going to be Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah.
And for you, I know that you have him into your team. Maybe it's not that lucky for you because right now everybody's going to buy Van Dijk, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like in these kind of situations. I don't feel too bad. Like, not everyone's gonna go Virgil. A lot of people will do different things, right? Because like some people would just think, I want to replace the Arsenal spot with an Arsenal spot, and I think that's logical. I already lost a little bit of transfer value for Van Dijk. Like, I think he went from 6 million to 5.9. So I don't really mind if people want to buy Van Dijk. I could take a price size.
Yeah, talking about replacements for Gabriel, the obvious ones, if you want to keep that place at this price bracket, I would say would be Van Dijk and Munoz. The obvious ones. Now here we have also a statistic for the best defenders who got defensive contributions per 90 minutes. If you want to go down, if you want to, I don't know, upgrade in midfield or in attack, let's say if you don't want to go for Munoz, if you don't want to go for Van Dijk, which player would you go?
I think my answer would actually maybe depend if I had like other Crystal Palace defenders already.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I love the double up, but I probably would actually just go Van Dijk, because if I think about Crystal Palace's fixture run, it's interesting because I think it depends on free hit as well, because some people look at free hit 16 as very popular, right? So if you're good at free hit on 16, that's a really bad Crystal Palace fixture, because I think they're versus Man City. If you plan to free hit on 16, maybe Munoz is better. But I think if you don't have like a specific free hit window you're targeting, or you used it already, I think Virgil's is a bit more fixture proof, if I can say it like that. But they're close.
Yeah, I agree. And also maybe if you want to free it in 13 against Man United. Yep. Again, not an awful picture, but
it's
yeah. I understand. Yeah, I wanted to ask you, for example, if you don't want to go for Van Dijk, if you don't want to go for Munoz, if you want to go for a cheaper defender, who would be your pick? Here we have here we have on this graphic the obviously the obvious picks, right? Senesi, I'm not sure if I would go personally right now for him if you don't have him already. Richards, Anderson. Again, which are your favorite ones?
Yeah, I mean, I personally like Anderson if you don't own him already. Just because he's been so good at DefCon this season, but Richards is there too. I'd probably go Richards first, and then I'd go Anderson second, in that order.
Yeah, I agree. Richards probably, I had him. Now I have Munoz into my team, but I still think that he's probably, I don't know, from my point of view, the best 4.5 million defender. He outscored also Munoz since I got him in the last 2 gamings, I think. So yeah, he's really good for defensive contributions. someone like Ballard, I find him really interesting, but not with the fixtures for Sunderland who are coming up next. Maybe at some point. I just think that he's also a great threat from the set pieces and also really good for defensive contributions. And probably,
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Ballard's been like, if you think about actual attacking threat, right? Like, I mean, obviously a lot of people like to pick Munoz for that, but I mean, right now set pieces are kind of dominating the league. Ballard's super impressive for that.
yeah, and in the same topic, probably someone like Keane, who I forgot to mention from Everton. I'm not sure how much time Braithwaite is going to be out, but probably he's still a decent pick. Keane.
Yeah. Everton's fixtures are kind of poor though. So I feel like that
Yeah.
Fulham game was like the prime game, and he did really, really well with it. So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So pretty much that's it on defenders. Now again, Semenyo is not injured, so we are safe with that. With Enzo Fernandez, we need to see. Now we're going to take a look at some midfielders. Now we can talk also about other midfielders. Here I have non-penalty expected goals for 90 minutes for the season midfielders, and on the first place obviously is Ismail Assar, who's also missing a lot of chances, and Enzo on the second place here, really close. Yeah, I'm trying to think which midfielders I would buy at the moment. Would you still go for the AFCON guys?
I think I'd consider both of them, to be honest. Specifically, like we're just talking Mbemo and Sar, right? Because I think, for example, like he's not on this list, but like Njai is someone that I probably wouldn't buy now.
Yeah.
So he's like the one AFCON guy I wouldn't, but the two AFCON guys on this list I would. There's a couple players here who I wouldn't buy anyways, just because of minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah.
Yeah, other than that, again, at some point we had a lot of options in midfield, and right now I just don't feel like there are a lot of them. So with Sar and Belmo, yeah, I would still go for them. Again, if you don't have Semenyo, if you don't have Bukayo Saka, probably should be on this list if we take into consideration the assists. And if you want to go for such an expensive pick. But other than that, yeah, if you want to take a punt on Mohamed Salah, maybe. Now we're talking about
Minte's still
Soboslai.
there. If you look at like Diego Gomez, right? Like, okay, he's played limited sample size for Brighton, but I guess if you took out some of the outlying picks here, technically Dango's minutes have been pretty good recently, but I still feel like the concern is they can always bench him. But for me, Minte is still like a really good pick,
Yeah.
and he doesn't go to AFCON. And we discussed him already, but yeah, like I think you kind of have to accept whether in a few weeks' time, honestly, when AFCON generally does happen, like people are gonna buy Mbemo. Oh, sorry, not Mbemo, but like they're gonna buy Cunha and Foden probably. At least one of the two options, because there's just not enough options in the game. Like if you own Mbemo now and you want to replace him in a few weeks' time, you're gonna go for one of those two picks.
Yeah, probably. And also maybe that's because I don't know, the players from last season. We don't have Palmer right now. We don't have Mohamed Salah, so we don't really
True.
have a lot of options to go. I agree. Also, from my point of view, Minte is it's the best midfielder in that price bracket. Now, if you don't take into consideration points, if you don't take into consideration someone like Caicedo, but yeah. Yeah, so let's answer some questions, guys. Now it's the time. Thanks everyone for joining. Chandri, Kevin Taylor, Subra, GF. So if somebody has the bench boost chip with 3 transfers, should I make 3 transfers and play bench boost or carry on for another 2 game weeks and save transfers? Let me just a second to understand the question. I mean, if you want to use the bench boost, definitely I think that you should just use it when you have mostly 4 playing player who you think are going to play, and after that, again, until Game Week 15 deadline, right? We need to use all of our transfers. If you don't want to do that, if you're not going to do that, you're just going to lose them. We're going to get stuck up with 5 in Game Week 16. So yeah, at some point, sooner or later, you need to use all those transfers. But yeah, first I would say make sure your bench boost is okay. Would you consider double city defense on the short term? I'm going to let you answer that.
Yeah, well, I got is that like Nico O'Reilly plus Guardiola?
Yeah,
I
pretty much that's
personally
it.
wouldn't. I just think like have they been that impressive as a defense? In my opinion, not really. Like I know, right? Like I know he goes to AFCON, but it seems pretty unlikely once again with fixture congestion that he doesn't play before AFCON and that he doesn't come back and play serious minutes post. So maybe Guardiola makes sense because you can nail him down. But at that point, I'd just buy Guardiola, right? Like if you really wanted to, and you don't have to do it this week. I'd say. I mean, this is one of their worst games, so like you can always
Yeah.
make that decision next week on Game Week 13. But would I double up? I probably wouldn't. Would you double up?
I mean, I don't think that I would go for O'Reilly right now. Maybe, as you said, when I knew he's going to go to AFCON, maybe he's going to become an option. But right now, with all, even Guardiola could play as a left back. Now, probably he won't, but he's still another option there. Someone like Donnarumma, as Adam is pointing out in the chat, could be also a defensive option from Man City. They weren't amazing in the beginning, I would say, but now their numbers, I think, that are slightly improving defensive wise. Again, it really depends. Probably not now. As you said, probably from gaming 13. If you want to jump on some, probably I will go just for Guardiola at the moment, honestly. But yeah, the problem for me is he's not really good for defensive contributions. His ceiling is not that high, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like, we don't see the Guardiola of like last season or the season before that, going crazy anymore. It's like his job is kind of boring. It's kind of safe. Like even the assist that he had for Haaland versus Brentford, I mean, that's just Haaland creating a solo goal. So like we haven't really seen much production at all from Guardiola. So you're really buying a center back there. There's nothing more to it. If you prefer him over Virgil for whatever reason, I guess you could go there. But like, going back to that question that we had in terms of Gabriel replacements, like I'd still probably actually pick a Virgil. I'd probably still pick Munoz.
Probably. Yeah, I agree with you. Hi, Lecky. Thanks for joining. With Gabriel reportedly out for 2 months, who from Calafiori, Timber, or Virgil van Dijk would you bring in? As I'm considering these 3. So, as Fran said before, it depends if, I don't know how many defenders you have from Arsenal, if you want to keep going on that route. Now, let's just try to answer this individually, I would say. Now, I'm a Liverpool fan, so straight away I would just go for Virgil van Dijk probably instead of Timber or Carafiori, but probably for the safety and because he's also better for defensive contributions, but probably Timber and Calafiori are better from open play, let's say. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, probably Calafiori is the most interesting in open play. But I think he's been someone where, because of his injury history, I feel like he's just going to be protected as well with midweek games. So I think even though he's like the most exciting on paper, like I think he has the highest XG right now out of all the defenders for Arsenal, but like per 90. But that doesn't seem achievable if the minutes don't live up to the per 90s, right?
Yeah, you're right. Gabriel to Munoz and Reinders to Rice. Can you do that? Oh, sorry. It's another. You answered his question. What do you think about Rice versus Soboslai? Random question.
I guess with the Sobo yellow,
Probably, yeah.
maybe you consider Rice a bit more now, and especially with Gabriel out. Like if you take Gabriel out and you don't get an Arsenal defender replacement, why not go for Rice? But yeah, I mean, if Sobo wasn't on the yellow card, like on 4, I'd probably have gone for Sobo quite easily. But I think now the injuries kind of make it a bit more interesting, like how you triple up on Arsenal.
Yeah. Also, is Gabriel missing going to impact the Arsenal scoring so many goals from the set pieces? That's also a thing, maybe. I think.
Fair.
Are they going to target Saliba now?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially like Marino. I mean, I think Marino is obviously one of the better set piece threats at the club. But yeah, if you take Gabriel out, I remember last season Timber actually had a fair few kind of like set piece. He's a bit short for it, but he's actually quite good at attacking the ball.
Yeah.
The main thing though is like the delivery for Arsenal is still like top notch. So I think hopefully they'll be fine. And at the end of the day, like there's going to be another center back sort of replacing Gabriel, right? So another like thread in the box. But yeah, maybe it all doesn't come from Gabriel like it has done this season, for example.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. I think that they are still going to be good from the set pieces. Richard Davis, would you go Enzo to Bruno Fernandes this week, given uncertainty around Enzo, or wait a week? Now it really depends what we're going to find out in the press conferences. Hopefully Maresca is going to help us with that. That's a really tricky question. You have Enzo Fernandez into your team, so I'm going to let you answer this.
Yeah, I feel like if what Maresca says is like kind of not positive, or we don't get this kind of Gabriel like Enzo match day news, if you want to put it like that, because in theory, like he should be posting right before the deadline. So if you don't get that Instagram story from Enzo, I think just be done with it and go Bruno.
Yeah, make sure you follow Enzo Fernandez on the Instagram.
On Insta. Yeah.
For more FPL tips. When to play the triple captainship? I would say for me, if you want to go on Haaland, probably if you're not free it in Gameweek 13 against Leeds or against West Ham in Gameweek 17, I would say. Would you go for another player at the moment?
I
Saka,
mean, this week,
I think that Saka is playing against Wolverhampton at some point. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But we don't know how Wolves are going to play with the new manager. So
true. Yeah, I'd probably just take Haaland versus West Ham. Probably, I feel like that still seems like the best game.
Gabriel to Munoz, guys, thoughts? I have Raya from Arsenal. Yeah, I like Munoz. I like Van Dijk. Not too much to say about it. You just need to pick your pick pretty much. Now with Crystal Palace, again, I think that Munoz is a really exciting player to have. But the fixtures are going to turn at some point, right? As you said before. Short term, I think that I would prefer to have Munoz than Van Dijk, I think, for the next 4 or 5 fixtures, something like that. But after that, probably long term, probably I would prefer Van Dijk. Virgil and Minte, or Richards and Cunha? That's an interesting one.
Yeah, I think they're both really good. I'd probably still go Richards and Minte.
So you would go with with the cheaper ones?
Yeah, I mean,
it was Virgil and Minte or Richards and Cunha.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'd go Virgil and Minte. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
I don't know what I was thinking. Richards and Minte.
Yeah, not a problem. It's a nice combo anyway.
Yeah. Well, no, I was just thinking about, like, I mean, Minte is probably a pick that I think you can keep for, honestly, until he's injured. And I think the same thing applies to Virgil, especially with Gabriel being out for a bit. So I'd feel a bit more comfortable in those. Like, even with Richards, I think like the main problem with someone like him as a pick is he's not like a perma play every week. as you say, fixtures will turn. There's going to be some weeks where you don't want to play Richards. With Virgil, I feel like when you look at the fixture run, like, okay, it's not because people aren't that confident in Liverpool now. So, maybe like the interest isn't as high as it would have been, like, let's say last season, but these are really good fixtures for Liverpool if you rate them even a little bit. And he does DefCon and he has goal threat, which, is still something that I think you can't really apply to Richards. Like when I look at, I think the underlyings, like going 2-3 seasons now for Palace, Richards is like the one who lags a little bit behind both Guehi and who obviously Guehi's had like a stellar season himself, but like even last 2 seasons compared to
and Lacroix
even
also.
Lacroix as well. The only thing is that he's done DefCon quite well, but Virgil has still outpaced him on DefCon. So
yeah, definitely. I think that also there's a slightly risk of Richard's minutes being not that great with all the congested and festive period coming through. We saw him being benched in Europe.
True.
Now that could happen also. And with Van Dijk, yeah, as a Liverpool fan, it was a tough start of the season, I would say. I'm expecting the form to improve. Surely we can't be that bad forever. And with Virgil van Dijk, he's pretty much the focal point when they're trying to deliver from any set piece. He's getting a lot of chances to score. He should have scored, I think, against Man City. Yeah, he was, I don't know, the owners were unlucky. I think you included. I think he scored a lot of goals in the Champions League.
Yeah,
but not in the
I
Prem.
benched him for that game, so I would have been pretty salty if he scored. But as you said, like he deserved to score. I think the review panel said it was a mistake.
Yeah. Rizwan Ali, thanks a lot for joining. I have Soboslai in my starting 11 with Semenyo on the bench. Would you bench Soboslai and start Semenyo? I mean, sure, I think that I would start Semenyo if you need to, if you're forced to play one of them, but yeah, I would try to find a way to start both of them, I think. Virgil van Dijk or Munoz. Yeah, as I said before, long term for me it's Van Dijk. Short term, I think that I would go for Munoz. What do you think if you were forced to pick one?
Yeah, I think I'd go Virgil. But as I said, like if you're gonna free at 16, maybe Munoz makes a bit more sense. They're pretty close though. Like you can't really go wrong with either.
Yeah. Carrison, thanks for joining. Is Gabriel out for many weeks? He's supposedly going to be out for 1 or 2 months, something like that. This is what we know so far. So yeah, definitely he's a sell probably for most people, I would say. Hi Andrew. I have the same front three and for sure will be benching Thiago. As a rule, I start him at home, bench away mostly. Hello Frank. 1 free transfer, what do you suggest? So you have Gabriel. Everyone who's going to ask me about the transfer probably also on the deadline stream. Yeah, I'm going to say that you need to sell Gabriel probably, and then it is your choice between Munoz, between Van Dijk, or going all the way down to Richards, Anderson, something like that. Now, talking about teams, now here we have non-penalty expected goals for the teams between Gameweek 1 and Gameweek 11. So for the season, surprisingly or not, Chelsea are on the first place. Now, this is a lot, I think, because of the last game against Wolverhampton when they created a lot of chances. But yeah, what's your view on Chelsea? I mean, after the Burnley fixture, the games are going to be a little bit more mixed. Is it the right time to go on them?
I think it's too late, to be honest. Like this is a good game, and you can get a crazy haul from whoever you buy from Chelsea on this type of match. But I feel like we're kind of playing a long-term game, really. there were a lot of good games, and they're gone now. So I probably wouldn't want to be too invested into Chelsea going forwards.
Yeah, probably. And also, we don't know anything about Palmer at the moment, I think.
Yeah.
This is the period where he was supposed to be back in training after this game, something like that.
Yeah, on paper, I think they want him to be ready for, I believe, like maybe the Barcelona match, if I'm correct. Like if we're thinking timelines, so that would mean the game after Burnley. So maybe if he's ready for
Yeah.
that could be interesting. But the problem for me with Chelsea is they dropped a lot of points in the Champions League. So they dropped 2 points for Karabag and they lost to Bayern Munich. So actually, they need to go full strength going forwards, for Champions League. So a lot of the key players will probably play almost, too many minutes in the Champions League. So we saw, for example, Reece James get benched versus Wolves, right? He got benched versus. I'm trying to think. Recently, didn't he get benched versus Wolves? Yeah, he did.
Versus Wolves, yes.
Yeah. So those kind of like situations I think will happen quite often going forwards, where like even with Enzo, especially if I can't imagine that if he's managing pain that he's going to be like fully recovered, right? And then if you're throwing this type of player and Caicedo and João Pedro who still go on international duty and play for their teams there, and and then you're asking them to play every 3 days, they're going to lose minutes, and it's not ideal when their fixtures aren't that good.
Yeah. I think that for most people, I would say keep at least your Chelsea players for this game against Burnley, but it is not ideal. They're going to play against Barcelona and against Arsenal after that, so we could see some players being rested. If that's going to mean, I don't know, playing 60 or 70 minutes, something like that, if you're talking about Enzo, João Pedro, Caicedo, these kind of players, obviously if they're going to win early that game against Burnley, that could happen. But yeah, if I had some players from Chelsea, I would keep them at least for this fixture, probably, bearing in mind any injuries or something like that. On this top, Man City, Arsenal, maybe a little bit surprising for me, because at the beginning of the season, I just thought that they weren't creating that many chances. But it seems like maybe with Bukayo Saka back, they are getting better, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the City thing is just how impressive Haaland's been, because he's
Yeah.
gotten most of the XG of that team. Like honestly, Foden's numbers are the worst that they've ever been, like in terms of his underlying. So really, that team's just somehow become like a full-on Haaland team, and I think that's a positive. Of course, like they're actually improving their attack anyways by doing this. With Arsenal, it just seems like they're just very complete in the sense that, like, probably a lot of the XG is still from like set pieces and things like that.
Yeah.
Which not many teams kind of produce that level. Like for example, you look at a team like Tottenham and Sunderland, they're not really good at all in open play, but at least they can do set pieces. Arsenal can do a bit of both.
Yeah.
And then they have a lot of bodies coming back too. So compared to maybe like, let's say, like arguably, I think Chelsea's probably like second string team is quite bad. So for example, let's say when we look at a game like, let's say Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest when they played away, like that's a good example of how bad Chelsea's B team is. Whereas with Arsenal, in theory, if they have the right minutes covering them in Champions League and the 20, 30 minutes that you kind of want a little bit of depth to add a bit of spice back into the team, like they have that, even though they have, let's say, the Gabriel injury, like as you said, there's more than enough defenders to cover.
Yeah.
And the Gyökeres injury is pretty big, but Havertz should be back soon. Gyökeres should be back soon. These kind of things help.
Yeah, they have Gabriel Jesus also there. They have
True.
a lot of depth right now, and also a lot of players who are injured, who are missing, like Madueke. When all these players are going to be fit, yeah, they have a really good team, full team, and they were really great this season till now. Yeah, let's see how they're going to go. Would you rush, for an example, I don't know, if you had someone like Gyökeres, maybe someone like Gabriel, what way would you go right now, considering we have Spurs, Chelsea, not the easiest fixtures? Would you wait, or would you just go and buy to have 2 or 3 Arsenal players?
Yeah. I probably would go for players from other teams for now. So I would move Gyökeres to. I'd probably still go Mateta, to be honest. Like, I think when you look at Thiago, realistically, only 13 is the only good fixture. I would free hit around that if you wanted. I think I would not buy someone who has like Tottenham, Arsenal away coming up in his calendar. So Mateta's the player I'd go to from Gyökeres. I'd still prefer him than a Welbeck because you're starting to see even like the last match, Welbeck's minutes can still be bad. Like even though they don't really have a true center forward kind of replacement for him, he's not ever going to be a nailed 90-minute player, and he's a bit injury prone. So I would just trust Mateta for now. He's at least held up reasonably well. Didn't play too much in the international break. I think played like 75 minutes for the second French game.
He scored, I think, also.
Yeah, he scored. I think he had a disallowed goal as well. I'm not sure, but no, I mean, like he's been on fire this season. The underlying stats back it. There's no reason to really scare it away because when you look at, as you said, the team stats, like Crystal Palace are super high up there. So anytime a team, I guess, is producing generally these good numbers, you want to own one of their center forwards. I think
I agree.
that's how I approach it. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And also with the forwards, pretty much in the same conversation with the midfielders. We don't have a lot of options at the moment.
Yeah, I think the forward pool is like so much worse than the midfield pool.
It is a shame. I don't know, maybe. I don't want to say because someone like Gyökeres wasn't really putting up a lot of good numbers in terms of FPL points. Someone like Ekitike, Alexander Isak, we don't really have these options at the moment. Spurs don't have a reliable number 9. So yeah, Manchester United. Yeah, pretty much we need to pick strikers from Brighton, from Brentford. From this list, yeah, realistically, which players from these teams are you looking to buy in the near future?
From that sort of bottom half.
I mean, from these teams, Brighton numbers, they are on the 7th place here. Yeah, probably, as you said before, Minte, Welbeck. I'm not sure if any other options are from Brighton.
It depends if someone can explain what's going on with Matoma. Like if Matoma was out for 1 to 2 months, I would consider Diego Gomez as well. Like, I mean, why not? But yeah, I think as you said, it's Minte or Welbeck for now for Brighton. For Everton, I think their fixture run's poor. With United, we said I think that there's a lot of options now, but you just have to kind of like, for example, you go in Mbeumo now. Part of it is that there's a risk piece to it, right? Like the ownership of Mbeumo has gone excessively high in recent weeks. So
yeah,
if you kind of want to go against a popular field pick, like I don't think going Cunha is terrible decision making. I think it actually makes sense. So will you get rewarded for that? That depends,
Yeah, I agree. No, it's not even that you need to go Cunha just to go different. I really think that it's not going to be. I mean, that's how I feel at the moment. I don't think that is going to be such a big difference in terms of points, but obviously I could be wrong here. And Mbeumo, what he has, I think, more than Cunha, maybe he has a little bit of share from the set pieces.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, if Cunha is going to play as a number 9, maybe he's going to profit from that creativity. Yeah, moving forward, real quick, this is the expected goals conceded for teams, and we talked before about Manchester City. Now, obviously, Arsenal are in a league of their own here on the first place, 0.56 expected goals conceded per 90 minutes, and Manchester City are on the second place somehow. So they clearly improved, at least from this statistic. But yeah, it is a shame we don't really have a lot of good options from them, I would say. Maybe on a wild card, would you go with Donnarumma maybe instead of Raya?
I'd probably still go Raya over Donnarumma because if Donnarumma was like 5.5 mil, maybe. But but he's like 5.7 mil now, right? So he's actually still quite high up there. Like a lot of people have recently bought into him. So his value's gone up a bit. And I think it's, considering the gap there with Arsenal, I probably still wouldn't buy him. I do like Guardiola, but as you said, like the big piece is like in a traditional season, Guardiola would be such a popular pick now, but because of DefCon, it almost makes, even if you think like Liverpool's a bit worse on defense, and they're not too far behind, right? Like they are still on this list. Is the key thing.
Yeah, what's funny,
that DefCon gap closes it, I think.
Sorry, what's funny, Crystal Palace and Liverpool have the same expected goals conceded per 90 minutes, and we are seeing at the moment Crystal Palace, or at least from a point of view, I saw them being better defensive-wise than Liverpool. So yeah, definitely, it is fine margins when we talk about these statistics. Maybe Liverpool should have got more, conceded less goals than they actually did, but yeah, it is not such a big difference. Brighton also on the 4th place. Newcastle, a lot of people talking about Newcastle options like, I don't know, they are somehow a terrible team at the moment. But yeah, I'm not sure about that. Obviously, you're not going to buy them in Gameweek. In this Gameweek, I think they're going to play against City. But from Gameweek 13, yeah, we could have some options from them also. Yeah, Sunderland also on this list, the only newly promoted side. Yeah, they were impressive. What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm kind of shocked Brentford is high up here as well, to be honest.
Sorry, who?
I didn't. Brentford.
Brentford, yeah.
Because yeah, I think when I think about Sunderland season, it feels like they've been impressive on defense. I probably haven't thought the same about Brentford. I guess the one defensive option from Brentford is Van den Berg, but as you said, like Sunderland, they do DefCon a lot of it, and then you mentioned Ballard. Like if you generally think like Sunderland are going to stay at this sort of position, right? Like if they can continue to average these types of numbers, then Ballard is definitely worth it as a 4.5 pick. But I think the biggest question is always when you're interpreting such a huge improvement from a team, is that sustainable versus, can they get even better? Is the question that I always ask. And I'm not sure, for example, if like I think Sunderland will hold up their numbers, but because their fixture run's also getting worse. Like if I remember the start of the season, they were probably the team with the most generous fixture run.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that the numbers are good for them, but they've been super impressive because I think even like any regular model would still have Sunderland like bottom 3 right now, but they've vastly kind of overperformed in a good way.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I saw some interview. I'm not sure if it was from the coach from Sunderland when he talked about some of their players. He mentioned Ballard and some other defenders who he said that they always playing each game trying to get that clean sheet with their lives, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good news. Yeah, so pretty much that's it. I mean, if you're looking for a defender, obviously, like everyone is going to look, this Gameweek, yeah, it's still probably the best way to go to Arsenal, Liverpool, Palace, I would say, and the other cheaper options. Yeah, I think that we covered a little bit of this subject. Next up, I have a graphic from Tom Hadley. Also check him on Twitter or X, how do you want to say it. He's also making some nice graphics. The best fixtures for both attackers and defenders until African Cup of Nations. So for the next 4 fixtures, I'm not sure if you can see the graphic. Best fixtures for attackers, it's Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Brighton, Man United, Bournemouth. So I just thought that we can have here also look at some decent fixtures if you're looking to invest in some of these players. Yeah, definitely up there. Crystal Palace, Liverpool. Brighton fixtures are interesting. I think that a little bit mixed, not that easy against Brentford, against Aston Villa. Even Nottingham Forest away could be a little bit tricky. Yeah, Man United, besides Crystal Palace away, I think that they have a great run of fixtures. Would you invest? We didn't talk. I forgot to talk about the Man United defender. Would you go there?
No, because I mean, this season it just seems like their defense is just like still complete vibes. Like I think their underlying stats for defense is like bottom 3 in the league or something like that. It's not very pretty. So if there's one like direction I wouldn't invest into United with, it's definitely defenders. And part of it too is like, I mean, their best defender is Amad Diallo, who's a midfielder. You can't really guarantee Dorgu minutes. Diallo will have good minutes over the whole run, but is he any interesting? No. Delict might be the one where maybe you can say he can get a bit of DefCon, could be a small goal threat, but
Yeah.
you know, they're overpriced still for the quality of the defense that they look like. Because you know, we've already sort of mentioned like the two teams that we mentioned in terms of like a Brentford or a Sunderland, like they're a lot cheaper than United, for example, and generally have okay-ish fixture runs coming up. Like Brentford, not near, but at least like in the distance they will. And then in the short term, you already have the good fixture run from, let's say, a team like Crystal Palace that you can just invest into. Like if Richards is 4.5, why am I going out to buy like Delict for 5.0, for example?
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, it is the year of cheap defenders, I would say, for the moment. How do you feel about the addition of defensive contributions?
I mean, I like it. I think I don't think it's changed the game as much as people think. It probably has changed the types of picks we've gone for a bit, but it's been pretty simple as a concept to understand, like how it works. So I think like the average player understands, you know, how to approach it. My only thoughts are maybe it needs to be tweaked a little bit for the midfielders and the forwards. Like I'm not really sure how I still feel about making like cheap midfielders good because they just do defcons from a value perspective. Like it feels like it's still quite low. Like right now, would I rather play a 4.5 defender or would I rather play a 5.0 midfielder? More often than not, I think I'd play the 4.5 defender. So I think there's still not enough value maybe in the 5.0 midfielder, and maybe there shouldn't be, right? The game shouldn't be so easy, like in terms of all the budget picks have to be good. Or you know, maybe they nerf the defenders a little bit, like maybe set the bar a little bit higher. Because another change this season too is like it seems like with the tactical kind of switch up of most teams, like a little bit more long throws, a little bit more long ball across the league, you're seeing the average DEFCON rate go up a little bit, right, compared to last season. So maybe when the Premier League created DEFCON, they probably didn't think defenders would be so good. But on average, most of the defenders have performed better. Like the averages for, I think, the top DEFCON players this season are much higher than the top DEFCON players last season. So maybe that's the reason.
Yeah, I agree. I saw that statistic. Definitely, probably they didn't know about that. And now,
it's hard to predict like how the league goes. Like if you look at, I mean, even like just from a tactical perspective, like some teams come to the league and they're just not ready. Like I don't know. I think Liverpool's, I wouldn't say like weren't ready, but it does feel like there are things that the team wasn't so well equipped for given the window that they had. Maybe expectations were a bit too high, but that's another thing as well.
Probably, yeah. Moving forward, if we can talk a little bit about Gameweek 12, here we have some market projections from Rob T FPL, the same on Twitter. Here we have the projected goals and the clean sheet odds for Gameweek 12. As you can see here, for the goals, Liverpool, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Man United, Brighton, Man City, in this order, are predicted to score the most goals this game week. What do you think about, if you want, about market projections in general, or about this graphic in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I think the key thing, as we kind of mentioned from the top, is just like how ridiculous Arsenal looks with the like what looks like a tough fixture on paper, and
Yeah.
then being top still. As we were kind of saying, I think this is the start of a really good United run again, a pretty good Brentford game from the attacking perspective. But I'm surprised that Crystal Palace is a bit low versus Wolves. Interesting, like Wolves is like a team they're at the complete bottom of the table, but I don't think their underlying numbers have been as bad as, let's say, a team like Burnley. So, for example, a team like Burnley, I still find is like, you know, a team that I'd love to target a lot more than Wolves. But we'll continue to see how that goes on. Like, I mean, they do have a new manager. What do we really care? I'm not someone who really believes in that kind of stuff. So I think that's still a great Palace game. City's an interesting one because I think this isn't a good City game, but you know, those
Yeah,
are actually pretty decent numbers considering how bad we think the game is usually.
yeah, I would say it's
Maybe
a little
that's a reflection of Newcastle and how we feel about them now, but I don't know.
yeah, maybe from the recent weeks, definitely. I think that surprising a little bit to see Man City against Newcastle at St. James. Usually they are a strong side, but again, it's Man City pretty much. It's Erling Haaland, as you said before. So we're expecting him to score at least one goal every game week. We need to go with this assumption, I think. But yeah, what do you think also about going against Haaland for this fixture? For the captaincy, I mean.
Yeah, I would do it 100%. I will do it myself. I will either go Saka captain or Bruno captain myself. Do I advise it to other people? I think it's always a question, like a personal question of like what your risk preference is. The reality is Haaland himself makes it super close. I just think that this is like a game where, or a game week where you can take that risk, and it probably feels like the right decision from like an expected value perspective. But yeah, I mean, when I look at the odds now, is it that big of a difference? Especially when you factor in Haaland's goal share. The only pro to captaining someone else is just that, you know, there's midfielders in the game. So I'll do it, but I don't know. Are you looking at a non-Haaland captaincy?
Yeah. To be honest, if I'm not going to go somehow for Bukayo Saka this game, he would be my captain if I'm going to go there.
Right.
I'm at the moment my captaincy is on Mateta, and seeing these stats, it doesn't really help. But yeah, I really think that it is a great fixture against Wolverhampton. But it doesn't really matter for me that they're going to have a new manager, but still, I trust more. I would say Crystal Palace, although they were pretty much silent against Brighton. I mean, in the first half, Sar should have got 2 attacking returns, something like that, I think. But other than that, the second half was really boring. As Andrew Barton is saying, I suppose he's talking about Haaland. He's basically outqualified his teammate. But because he doesn't have back... Oh no, they're talking about Formula 1, so yeah, my bad. What I wanted to say, Erling Haaland pretty much single-handedly qualified Norway for the World Cup. It's just insane what he done also in that qualification tournament. What is the overall rank of you both, Dennis and Fran? For me, it's 600, something like that. I didn't captain Haaland against Liverpool, and I got a little bit punished. Yeah, what about you, Fran?
155k.
Yeah. So also last game I captain Mateta, and I got quite lucky. I'm not going to complain about Haaland against Liverpool. I took that opportunity. Now it's again, my whole team was pretty bad in Game Week 11, not just that decision, but yeah. Now we're going to take a look at your team finally. until you see it, I'm just going to let you put out your thought process about what you're going to do. I think that you have 3 or 4 free transfers, so you're in a pretty decent situation right now.
Yeah, a couple flags, as you said.
You have just
But you know,
one.
like Anderson is around, and that's a positive. I think I'll sell Gabriel this week, even if just to like kind of recoup I don't know. Actually, I might not sell Gabriel if he's not in danger of a price fall. Because if you can kind of see my team, if Semenyo's fine, the only player that I might take out of my team is Enzo. Like I could actually go out of Enzo to Minte if I feel like Enzo is not going to start versus Burnley. Because all I really need is only one of these players to be out, right? Like I don't mind playing Anderson this week versus Sunderland at home.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really worth bringing in a new player and using my free transfers, especially when the big thing about this period is, as you can see, like with more fixtures, like there's just going to be more injuries. So I think for one time in my life, I'll probably be a bit patient and try to like keep my moves to like 1 to 2 free transfers. If I wanted to be a bit more aggressive, I think I can always do something like Gabriel to someone cheaper, like maybe like a Richards or a Vandenberg, and then just upgrade Enzo to like a United midfielder. So I could go Mbemo for a few weeks even and stretch my budget a bit. Or I could just chill, do Enzo to Minte, keep rolling, which is kind of my plan, I feel like. But sooner or later, I'll sell Gabriel. It just might not be this week. And as we were saying, like it could be even Guardiola if I wait till next week. If I go this week, then maybe I just go for a Palace player like Munoz. But I don't have the option of Virgil. And I really do think Timber is a little bit risky because, yeah, if you go Timber, if he gets benched versus Brentford, I'm going to get so upset. So I feel like I'm not going to do that. And yeah, that's it for now.
I mean, you don't have any player who's going to go to AFCON.
Yeah.
So you're in a good position for that. Definitely now, obviously, you need to use all your transfers until Gameweek 15. Probably, again, looking at your team, the only doubt is probably Enzo. And I don't know, maybe if at some point you want to get rid of Dewsbury Hall, but I think that he's a fine option anyway at that price. Yeah, honestly, you don't have a lot to do. Yeah, you're captaining Saka. Also about your chips, which chips you have remaining and when are you going to use them?
Yeah, so just free hit left from myself. I did a pretty bad bench boost. I can't remember when. Probably around like game week 5 or something like that, or 6.
Same.
But I think the plan for me is just I'll need to think about my moods, right? So if I go Gabriel out to a non-Arsenal player, maybe there's actually more of a reason for me to do free hit 16. If I go Gabriel to another Arsenal player, then I'll probably free hit 13 to kind of avoid Chelsea away. So like those kind of small decisions kind of impact what my free hit would be. Because I don't think like for a season like this, people shouldn't be caring so much about like which free hit is best. Because I think 1 to 2 players within your team can change like what is a good free hit, like what's the best on paper free hit window. And you kind of have to accept whether it's going to be super unlucky or super lucky. Like if you remember free at 6, that was super unlucky for people who targeted like they targeted City versus Burnley, lost the clean sheet if they went for a defender, or didn't get any points if they went for Phil Foden, who's pretty much done nothing since scoring versus United. So like I think when you think about things like that in a single game week season, you can get really hurt for having a good free hit on paper and then just, like Chelsea, like Arsenal could score versus Chelsea and suddenly everything. I mean, like some of the Arsenal defenders could score, right? Or an Arsenal can still keep a clean sheet, and then you'll feel really bad about it. But then I think you just kind of have to trust, hope the fixtures like pay out the right way for yourself, but just accept if things go wrong. So yeah, free at 13 or 16 for me, depending on what my Arsenal move is this week. And then because I think Enzo's going to go out of my team anyways, like regardless, I don't think he's going to impact my free hit plans too much.
Yeah, as you said, maybe also we're not so used to using, obviously to having a free hit in the first part of the season, but to using a free hit not in a single gaming, because obviously we done that before in a blank gaming or something like that, but now we don't have blanks, we don't have doubles. There really isn't, I don't know, the T1 gaming to use your fleet. I would say it is pretty much team dependent. I don't know, if you have 3 players from Arsenal, I would say try to use it maybe in Gaming 13. Maybe that's going to be good for you. But it really depends. That's how I would use it. At least I'm going to look at how my team is going to look in the next GameX. And yeah, where I don't really like it that much, I'm willing to go against the crowd, although it could easily backfire. Also, as you said before, Arsenal could keep a clean sheet against Chelsea, and yeah, it feels a little bit risky with so many chips.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I suppose you're going to try to make just one, or I mean, you're going to sell Gabriel anyway at some point. I would say maximum 2 free transfers you're going to use maybe this gaming
Yeah.
on Enzo.
Yeah, definitely. It's just as I said, like go for a cheap midfielder like Minte, or just push, because I mean I have, like, most people are doing Gabriel to Virgil, right? Something like that. But I guess because I have Virgil, I can always,
Yeah,
to make my team a little bit closer to everyone else's. Like I guess it would be doing that. It would be doing Gabriel to a cheap defender, and then just going like if I bring Mbumo to my team.
Yeah.
That's kind of the template team, I guess, like a template wildcard team, I suppose. So I need to think about that a little bit more.
Yeah, considering your situation, that's what I wanted to add. I think that I would be willing to go for someone like Mbeumo or Ismail Assar. Now, I'm not sure if you want to triple up on Crystal Palace, but I would go for one of these FCOM players, since you have a lot of free transfers. Now, again, hopefully you're not going to get burned by injuries and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure if you can do Enzo to Sar, and yeah, maybe you're not going to go for Van Dijk and Munoz. Yeah, other than that, I don't know. Just if you want to go for an Arsenal defender, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it would be Saliba at this point. I'm trying to think. So if they play versus Brentford on game week 14, what would happen if I bench my Arsenal defender? I guess I would just have to play Dewsbury Hall in that week, which is, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I don't really want to do that. So if all things go to plan for me, I think I probably go for someone like Saliba this week.
Yeah. All right. Then I think that you're going to go a little bit on my team.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be way more harder to see what I'm going to do. I have 2 free transfers. Yes, I still have Gyökeres in my team. And yeah, I could be honestly really taking a hit, but probably I don't need to do that this gaming. At the moment, so Gabriel is going to be out. Let's say I'm going to play with 3 at the back. But yeah, probably I'm going to sell Gabriel. I have Alderete also, who's going to play against Fulham away, which is, I mean, not that bad of a fixture,
Yep,
I would
not
say.
bad.
Hopefully he's going to play. He wasn't playing in the last gaming. Hopefully his injury got better. He had a concussion, I think.
Yeah, pretty serious one, it seems like.
Yeah. In midfield, I have Bruno Semenyo. Thank God he's fit, so I don't need to deal with him on this gaming. Unjae and Minte. Reinders on my bench, and yeah, in attack I have Mateta and Haaland. So again, before all these injuries, I thought about just downgrading Gyökeres to Aguyu or Obi, and upgrading Rodon to Van Dijk, and maybe playing a back for this gaming. But now that Gabriel is injured, yeah, that's going to make my decision easier. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go straight to Van Dijk, since I have Munoz. Other than that, I really need to decide. The thing is, what transfers I'm going to do this game week are going to decide where I'm going to use my frit and triple captain. These are the only chips I have left. For an example, I could do Gabriel to Van Dijk, Gyökeres to Thiago, and maybe not free hit in game week 13 and use my triple captain instead. Yeah, if we move a little bit here, also I have a lot of possibilities. I could just also downgrade Gyökeres to Guyu, upgrade Reinders to Bukayo Saka. That's probably the obvious move, the most template move. Let me just because Reinders again, I'm not forced to sell him. He's pretty much my 8 attacker at the moment, so he's on my bench most weeks. But yeah, I'm not so happy having him.
Yeah, I'd probably want to sell him, it seems like.
Yeah,
With
so doing
Cherokee playing
sorry,
well.
sorry, doing these transfers, Gyökeres to Guyu, because Gyökeres again probably is a sell. I'm going to wait to see if he's going to be available or not. I had just one free transfer last game week, that's why I didn't sell him then. Now, yeah, I lost 0.1 millions in value in that, but yeah, I suppose it was a good decision to save the transfer last game week. So this would be my team with selling those two. Now that would mean to keep Gabriel, Senesi, Munoz, Alderete, Saka, Bruno, Semenion, Jae, Minte, Haaland, Mateta. So yeah, again, it is a pretty decent team. I would just be stuck with Gabriel if I don't want to sell him for a -4. Now, if I don't know, if you want to give your opinion, what would you do in my case?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good team because, as you say, like Njai is like still a really good pick. I'd probably just do that Gabriel to Verda move and
Yeah, the thing is, let me just refresh it.
It is tricky. Maybe you could actually just roll the Gabriel move until like the week after, right? Because when I think about it, like Rodon's actually not too bad of a play. I wouldn't feel too bad about playing him versus Villa.
Yeah, I mean, I
You're
don't
probably
really
not
need to
going to
play
lose value
Rodon.
on Gabriel. If Gyökeres is out, probably prioritize taking him and Reinders out, do those two moves, and then save the Gabriel transfer for the week after.
Yeah, I could do that. Again, I would play probably Alderete instead of Rodon, which is okay. This game week, I think. But yeah, this is pretty much what I need to decide. Another thing what I could do is to sell Gyökeres to Thiago. I don't know, Gabriel to Van Dijk, to free transfers. That would leave me with 3.1 millions in the bank. And this would be, if we move to game week 13, probably the option to triple captain Haaland. And since I sold to Arsenal players, maybe just not use the free in game week 13 and find another week to do it. And yeah, as you can see on the screen, the team is not horrible. I mean, it's Raya against Chelsea or Dubravka against Brentford, probably still Raya, and Munoz Mateta against Man United. Pretty much these are the toughest fixtures for my players. So yeah, really need to decide. About the triple captaincy, would you, I don't know, would you be tempted to just use it against Leeds, or do you think that something could change drastically for West Ham in game week 17? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna quickly just have a look at City's like fixture congestion.
I think that this is a midweek game, if I'm not wrong, against Leeds.
Yeah, because I remember when I was checking, I think both games are. Well, actually, no. So there's a. Excuse me, sorry. There's a 3-day gap, I guess, between City Brentford and City West Ham, and then there's like a 1-week break between that and Forest. So there might be a bit more scope for him to get more minutes versus West Ham. I personally think West Ham is still like a worse defense than Leeds, but then Leeds, like last 2 weeks, they've kind of opened the gates a bit. Like for the most part, they were a pretty good defense this season, and then they played 2 away matches, which was like Brighton, Nottingham Forest, and then everything kind of like they're not proving to be a really good away team right now. So yeah, I don't know. Do you still you prefer Leeds over West Ham right now?
No, I prefer West Ham for the triple captaincy.
Yeah.
It's just if it's worth the wait, and
Right.
also,
Yeah, I think I would, right? But
I
I
mean,
see your point. Like, so are you worried about like if there's an injury and there's no good backup captaincy or
maybe,
something like that?
but at the end of the day, it's going to be where I'm going to use my fleet. If I'm going to use my fleet in 13, yeah, I'm going to triple captain in 17. So that's
Yeah,
going to
fine.
decide pretty much
True. True.
what I'm going to do. So yeah, I'm going to wait anyway to see what information we're going to find this week. But yeah, pretty much, yeah, I have to deal with Gyökeres, with Gabriel, and yeah, pretty much that's it. Decide if I want to go for Saka.
Yep.
For the third striker, again, at the moment, I think that Thiago would be, if I'm not going to go straight to Aguyo. Yeah, there aren't a lot of good options. Now, if you want to make a free team for Gameweek 13, although it is a little bit early, we can do it here. A photo with the fixtures should pop up right here. Looking at the fixtures, which fixtures would you target now? Brentford, Burnley, Man City, Leeds, Gameweek 13.
Yeah, 100%. I think I mean it's a good week to go Haaland plus Salah, I would say. So you stick those two in there.
Yeah, let me just. Thiago probably would be here.
Yeah. Maybe even we'd probably go Sade as well from Brentford.
Arsenal, Chelsea, would you go for any players?
No, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd go for any players from both teams.
Liverpool, West Ham.
Probably triple West Ham.
Triple Liverpool?
Oh, triple Liverpool. Yeah. Triple
Yeah.
Liverpool makes sense. Problem is, like, I guess if Sobo's fit, you just go Sobo, Salah, Virgil, right?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm not sure if there are some chances to get some leaks in that fixture in Gameweek 13. I would be tempted by someone like Alexander Isak just for 1 week if he's going to start, but yeah, it's hard to argue about picking him.
But I would definitely go Sade from Brentford. I would maybe go with a Brentford defender. I'm not sure if I would personally. But like you could even go Dango, like if you really wanted to. Like if you're out of money, for example, because you're going Haaland plus Salah, and that's probably quite tight on budget, you can just go for Dango. But I think Vandenberg is a 4.5 defender is really good that week. Probably Aston Villa, quite good as well. I think they have a good home game, right? I think they have Wolves at home, so you can probably go like Cash this season. He's been really good. Maybe it's a week to revisit Rodgers. I don't know.
Maybe Rodgers. I'm not sure about Watkins though.
Yeah, he looks like he's dropped off a complete cliff. Like I think the biggest question with Rodgers is like right now we don't have that much depth in the striker position, but like you can already start to see that like Emery has probably kind of like he's more open to reducing Watkins' minutes, right? Because I think those when they kind of had some European fixtures as well, like he benched him versus was it Tottenham or something recently.
Yeah.
And then like some of the matches he's getting subbed off at 70, 80 minutes. Like that's probably, I don't know, such a good game. Maybe we can wait until this week and see like what his minutes are going to be like. Because I feel like Aston Villa probably have European games too.
Yeah.
And that could impact like how good his minutes are going to be versus Wolves. So maybe for now, I wouldn't go Watkins. Maybe 3-5-2 still.
Yeah, so this is a really short free draft I made. I'm not sure if you see the whole team. So at the moment, I've gone with Martinez, Cash, and Rodgers from Aston Villa.
That's great.
Van de Beek, Schade, Thiago. It's missing a Man City, a third Man City player. Probably you wanna triple up on Man
True.
City instead. I have 0.9 minutes in the bank, so yeah, I could go. Would I go Donnarumma? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a good shout.
Yeah,
No.
probably. No, this is a really fast free team for Gameweek 13, and yeah, on paper it's looking great. I think. I would be tempted also on Liverpool to go with a different pick there instead of Soboslai, but again, if you can nail the minutes, yeah, other than Gakpo, I'm not sure you have any other options. Isak is going to be an interesting option, maybe with the AFCON. I'm not sure a lot of people talked about him, obviously because Liverpool are in a bad form at the moment. But I also would be, I think he's going to be on penalties in that period.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, right? It seems like though, I think that one of the issues the team has is like if Salah doesn't play, it doesn't really impact Isak's minutes or too much. Like if you still see the issue being like Ekitike subs, I mean, who's going to cover the right wing minutes? Like mostly Frimpong plus
Wirtz could play there,
Wirtz, yeah.
I would suppose. Chiesa could play there, but again, yeah, we didn't talk about Wirtz, obviously. On a free, it could be a fun pick. Again, probably most people won't go there. But yeah, if you can afford him and if you trust his minutes, he could be a decent option also. Again, yeah, I'm just waiting personally to see when Liverpool are going to click a little bit. They showed some signs of improvement against Aston Villa, against Real Madrid, but after that they just got trashed by Man City. So, but it's still Man City, I guess, so it's not such an easy fixture at the Etihad. So yeah, with the fixtures, yeah, it is a shame we don't have other options from Liverpool.
Yeah, it's a weird one because obviously, I mean, they were, I think, fairly priced as a team based on the expectations. But even with City, we're kind of struggling. Like, if Foden was 8 million in any other season and you told me he was playing 90 minutes every week, like everyone would own him. But, no one has any interest in someone like Foden. So there's a couple players, I think, this season where from those bigger teams, we just haven't had too much enjoyment from.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for Man City, it's just Haaland at the moment. I mean, again, against Liverpool, Doku turned into prime Messi. So, again, he's, I don't know, he's, his finishing is not, is not on point. That's why I don't think that I would go for him, besides the rotation risk. Other than that, I think that he's a fantastic player. So, yeah. Yeah. Now, if you still have some time, we arrived to the last part of the stream where I ask my guests some questions. Some of them are fun, some of them not. Let me just. So this is more of a general question. Do you plan transfers with fixtures in mind or focus more on form?
I think definitely fixtures, because I think form is an interesting piece where it's like, yes, you can see a player's in form, but you don't know when the form ends. Whereas the fixtures will still be there, right, when the form ends. So that's kind of how I view it. It's like by the time you see someone's in form, you could arguably have already missed the form. So yeah, I'm always more fixtures.
I agree. I'm same. Next one, who is your differential pick for Gameweek 12? Let's say, I don't know, who do you think is going to score more points? Who's kind of a differential?
Yeah, I mean, should we put like a rule around differentials? They have to be a certain ownership.
Yeah, let's say under 10% to make it a little bit more easier. But take your time, no problem. I'm going to think also.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I'll probably just go with Cunha, to be honest. I think it's a pretty good time to buy now, as you kind of showed with that graphic in terms of like attacking fixtures. So I'd probably have a look at United from that perspective.
Yeah. Moving next, who do you think is the best captaincy option this week? Now we talked about this subject, but
Yeah.
if you want to answer it.
Well, I'm hoping it's Saka, right? Oh, that's what I think I'll be captaining.
All right, so if you had all the players, you would pick Saka for this game.
Yeah, yeah. I guess Salah's up there too. Yeah, maybe Salah, I'd say.
If on a wild card, who are the 3 to 5 must have players? Now we didn't discuss about the wild card, so this could be useful.
True.
3 to 5 must haves.
Do we count Haaland as a must have?
I guess. That's why I put 3 to 5, you know, because three is pretty easy.
I guess Haaland, Mateta. I probably would say Bruno.
Okay.
Anderson, Richards. I think like if I had the chance to rebuild my team a bit, I'd probably have both of them. And they're really cheap. So you don't need to go spending for a 6 million player all the time. I think those are the types of picks I'd have. Those are for me, I don't really see essentials like being a thing in the game. Like there's going to be managers who have Salah over Haaland, you know, because they have, you know, larger balls than myself. But like, yeah, you know, those are the picks that I'd probably go with on wildcard.
And they were really unlucky, I would say, considering the difference in points between them. Yeah, if you remember last season, it was a roller coaster pretty much between Mohamed Salah and Haaland. You just needed to be on the right track.
Literally, yeah.
Best 3 defenders to own for the next 5 game weeks.
So just for the next 5. So interestingly, that does include 16, right? So that's one of the bad fixtures for Palace. For me, I'd actually say Virgil probably top now. Saliba maybe, because I think he's nailed.
Yeah.
I think Senesi, because the Bournemouth run, like short term, is really good still.
Yeah, I agree.
And Munoz, or just generally like a Palace defender, right? Like I'm not one of those managers who thinks you have to go Munoz. As you can see, I have Lacroix, and I think even with Lacroix you can go Richards. So, yeah, like any of those would do.
I mean, all of them were pretty great this season.
Yeah, so far they've just been
Even Gay, who's not really my type of pick, who I would have gone at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I agree.
I definitely thought that Lacroix was going to be the best one, considering
Me too.
Defensive contributions, but Richards pretty much, was immense in that regard. If you could pick only one player to have for the next 5 fixtures, now reading this question, it made me laugh a little bit because we talked about that Van Dijk or Munoz for the next for the next 5 fixtures. If you could give one piece of advice to anyone struggling this season, what would it be?
I think it's so early in the season now. Don't get so disheartened about rank. Like if you generally think you're making good decisions and you back your decisions every week, just stick to them for now, because the time to kind of dial up your risk is much later in the season. In the meantime, like, you know, I'm happy with the rank that I have so far, but like I know it can go really poorly. At the same time, like I've probably have had like rank rises only within the space of like 3 to 4 weeks. So I feel like for the people who aren't happy with their rank now, don't go too crazy in terms of like specifically chasing like risky plays just because they're risky. Leave that for a little bit later in the season. Let what is a good team on paper do well in the future. Like I tend to just say like if I actually like the look of my team every week and I'm not getting red arrow like and I'm still getting red arrows, then there's not much I can really control. Like, because to me,
Yeah.
that's just at some point you probably say that's bad luck, or you need to revisit why you picked those players in the first place. So yeah, I think don't dial up your risks yet.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, you don't want to panic too early. The ranks are kind of close at the moment still.
Yep.
And yeah, don't panic. That's a really good way to look. At the end of the day, it's just a game. If you're happy with your team, yeah, probably it's going to get better at some point, hopefully. Next question. If you could only captain one player all season, who would it be? Now, probably this is a more easier question this season, I would say.
Yeah, could be that Erling Haaland guy.
Okay. Which chip / rule would you add in FPL? It can be anything.
Sorry, what's the question? Hasn't loaded up yet on my stream. Oh, chip rule. I don't know. I actually think I would remove captaincy. I actually don't like captaincy at all.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nice. For me, also, in the same way regarding the captaincy, I thought about forcing you to not captain the same captain every gaming. So I don't know, maybe you can do it for 2 weeks and then you need to change, or for 1 week and then you need to change. I think that would spice up things a little bit. But again, you would need to think a lot about the captaincy.
Because I think one of the concerns sometimes is like I think it seems like a lot of the rules that they create, they just want to keep engagement, but they don't want to make it too hard. Like they don't want you to spend too much time playing FPL, because they find that maybe some of the casual players like don't have enough time to commit to FPL. So if you had to plan out changing captaincy every week, I guess for some managers they don't like that. So I just think removing it could help. But I agree. Like I mean, if that happened, there's a lot more planning into the game. It's kind of like fixture, like it's kind of like blank gaming, double gaming planning almost, right? Because it's like,
Yeah.
do I I want to prioritize like a game like Holland versus Leeds at home. So what other captaincies can I go in the short term to circumvent, not struggling with him? But yeah, that would be pretty fun.
Yeah. Which team do you support and what made you?
Real Madrid. My dad's side of the family is Spanish, though, from Madrid. So they fortunately supported Real Madrid and not Atleti. Although I have some family from that support Getafe. But yeah, that's pretty much the reason.
Yeah, okay. Really good team you picked there.
Yeah, I mean, we just lost to Liverpool, and
I mean,
I think the reality is like we're not very good right now. Like I think the Spanish league is probably the worst that it's been in a while. I think the English league is so much better, just in terms of level, quality of play. So I'm looking forward to coming back, hopefully in the future. But yeah, I'm pretty jealous of a lot of the English teams now.
I mean, I was pretty jealous of Real Madrid. I don't want to say I hate Real Madrid, but
Yeah, you can say it. I think as a Liverpool fan, I would understand why that could be the case. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is what it is. The last part is going to be some would you rather questions. Would you rather never own Haaland all season or always have to captain a defender?
Okay, never own Haaland or always captain a defender. I'm trying to think about how that impacts my points. Because I guess like an average defender every week is probably like 4 point something points. Haaland is probably like 6 point something. I think I would always captain a defender. Wait.
I mean, yeah, it's not an
Yeah,
easy.
I would always captain a defender, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather wildcard every 4 weeks? So let's say you'd be forced by the game to wildcard every 4 weeks, or never, or never use chips at all.
Oh, I think I'd wildcard every 4 weeks. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's kind of broken, to be honest. I mean, it's a free hit as well, right? At that point, like, yeah.
Yeah. It just would be you would change your team probably a lot, and maybe you're going to get I don't know, angry
it is
with some picks, but it is what
That's
it is.
true.
Would you rather have prime Thierry Henry or prime Cristiano Ronaldo in your FPL team?
Prime Cristiano Ronaldo. It's not close. It's really not close.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say.
I guess, yeah, if we're talking about Premier League only, that would be a little bit more close. But if you're talking about
the Premier League prime, yeah, that makes sense. I guess at that point I'd still pick Thierry Henry.
Yeah. Would you rather play 5 defenders every week or captain a defender every week? Oh, this is similar to the last one.
Yeah, I think I would play 5 defenders every week.
Yeah,
at that point.
Probably this season you could go away with that. How it's going at the moment.
Yeah.
Would you rather get free season tickets for live, let's say for the team you support, or win FPL once?
I'd win FPL once, 100%.
Yeah, I agree with you.
A bit selfish, but I'll take that.
It is what it is. Again, flying to Madrid every week is not that cheap anyway.
Well, yeah, I think I'd have to start living there. I'd have to find a way.
Probably. And the last question, I think, would you rather triple captain Munoz versus Burnley or Haaland versus Arsenal?
Yeah, Munoz versus Burnley easily. Yeah,
for the vibes probably.
Yeah.
So this was it. Thanks a lot for being here on the stream. Really appreciate it. Also, thanks everyone for watching, for being here. Also, if you watch it after the stream ends, make sure also, guys, to check FPL Fran's channel. It's in the description. And yeah, thanks a lot, mate, for being here. It was a pleasure talking to you about FPL and football in general. And yeah, we're going to see